Hi everybody, it's Raina. Um, and Cream. I I hope you're all doing well. Hi Sam. That's my dog Sam. That's a pit bull. He's adorable. He still thinks he's a baby. I hope everybody's well. I really haven't been on because there's been some changes in my messages that I've been getting, and I believe I've acquired a new spirit guide, and I really didn't know how to take this spirit guide because it's very assertive, and it showed me a few things so far, and it's actually a physical presence when it comes into when I have a vision, and when it's in my head, it's like a physical push, and I've had to say prayers and make sure that it's of God, because that's the only way I'll accept any information or I'll deal with anything if it's connected with God. Because and I've said a lot of prayers, and this spirit comes in. It's not like the others, and it's not summer, and it's very, like I said, assertive and strong. So I want to make sure that it's okay, that it understands. I've explained it to this spirit that I only go with God, that I only accept what comes from God, that this is something I've never experienced before. But then things are always changing in my world, like my psychic world. I go through different kinds of experiences, and they change. Some come and they go, and then I'll develop something else, and I'll lose something else, and I'll only see one thing for 6 months, one type of thing, and then it'll disappear, and I'll never see it again, but I'll remember it very clearly because it's a vision. But anyway, this is what I saw, and I'm still trying to work on what the last messages Summer gave me. Um, that she showed me the black sky. It was still with the moon and the water and the unknown, like the moon card in the tarot. And she showed me the sky, and she showed me the numbers 1, 0, 3, 4, and they were kind of like dotted around the sky. They weren't really in a line. And I kind of put them together as that would make the most sense. Like, why would a zero be before a one? So I kind of made it like that. And she also showed me five distinct ones, and they were all like silvery white against this black sky, but it was like a stage background sky, like with poke holes in it for stars. It wasn't like a real sky, it was like a picture, like where you go to the theater and you see a background. Anyway, and then I saw the ones, the one, two, they look like ones, but they could have been something else. So I thought 1034. It's what does it mean? So I checked up all kinds of combinations. I still don't exactly know, but I did have a vision that I had keys, and they said 103 on them, and it was like a motel, but it was like a vacation type motel, and I had two sets, and they both had 103 on them. And there was somebody getting, the manager was like going in the door across the hallway, and you could see the sky, like there was no ceiling, and he was kind of snickering at me like, haha, your keys don't fit, do they? And I knew that my keys didn't fit the door. They weren't right. They wouldn't. 103 would not fit the door. I don't really know what that means. um I'm still like pondering over that one. But anyway, I So I saw, um, this is, again, it's a vision, so it's going to sound a little weird, but I took this to mean one of two things. I was in a subway car and I was traveling very slow on the subway, on the tracks, in the car, and there were big, big windows, like there usually are. Like on the Philly L, that was what we used to, because we were raised outside of Philly, so we took the L. And there was these big, big windows. And we were going really, really slow, and I could see people on the tracks, like really close to the train, which you only stand to when the train is like slowing down really to, I could see them really close. And they had these like outlines of boxes or places on their bodies and their heads. And all this information was written, each type of information that was separate. Personal information was written in each box that was on their person, and mostly it was around their head and neck. And one was even, I was looking at this lady, and the train was slowly going by these people, and one was even about what her heredity was, and what her bank account was, and how much, what her vital statistics were, and all this information was like written, and I somehow knew that it was visible, like they were exposed, like I could see all their information. And I was like kind of horrified, like, oh my God, is the government, trying? This was a vision. So I was able to think during the vision. Like, is the government going to try to, like get into all our, everything about us, know everything about us? And then I thought, in the vision, I thought, no, because already with the mask mandates and the lockdowns, people rebelled against it. We're not communist China. People don't want it. They're not going to allow it. So I thought, that's really weird. And the train kept going, and I kept seeing all this stuff. And I said, I don't want to know their personal business. I don't want to know it. I don't want to know it. And I like blinked out of it because I didn't, and I woke myself up because I didn't want to know. And I thought it either means one of two things, that the government is going to attempt again to, which didn't work the first time with the lockdowns, mandates. You do this, you do what we want. It didn't work with the people. It didn't work in Canada with them. The truckers, went on or went to the Capitol and told Trudeau that, it didn't work in Europe. They won't be controlled. We won't be controlled. We're fighting against this government that they're trying to push on us. And I thought, it can't be that, because people would never tolerate it unless it's some communist country. So then I thought the only other thing that it could be is I'm going to get more information than I want. And that scares me. I have always only opened the door so much. So I thought, okay, well, if it's that, I'll just be careful. I'll pray. What will happen, because that's happened one or two times before. And I've gotten more information than I did before. Because, like I said, things are always changing. So, this is how I knew the spirit was there. I had this vision, and this was very close to that one. That I saw this box against a black background, like my usual, and it had like profile pictures in it, and there were four next to each other, right next to each other. And it was a neat, clean little box. And it had a bigger bottom, and then the profile pictures, and then a small top, and then there was the side. And I was looking at it. And Don Wells was on the side, but he was in like a full body. I was just looking at it. It was like a screen. And he was also in the first profile picture, but he wasn't like really vivid, like he wasn't that important. And Candace was in the second profile picture. And there were two more in the profile pictures. And they were kind of blurred out, like they weren't important at the time. And Candace had a red neon light around her picture. And every time I would look away from her picture and try to and look at Don's or something, I would get like this jolt of like electricity, and I would be forced, like something physical like pushed me back to Candace's picture, and it would light up and it would be going around and around like some sort of a carnival like or arcade thing, and I could feel a physical like jolt, like this the energy, and it was like nothing I've ever felt before in a vision, and it would actually hurt a little bit. And I I did this a couple of times, and every time I'd look at Don on the side, he was just kind of he wasn't a real clear picture, but I knew it was him. And then I'd look away. I would be forced to look back at the picture because I'd kind of be jolted back to look at Candace's picture. So, and the other two pictures were not important at this time. So I think that means something is coming up with Candace. And this spirit is a lot more assertive than the spirits I've been dealing with so far. And I believe that was what the first vision I had about the people and all their information written on little spots that I could see. I could see this because I had some sort of a gadget that I could use in my hand, or I don't know, I had something that I could see this, and I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to know, all this stuff. And yeah, it is kind of sometimes it's I don't want to know. And I get things that I don't want to know, but other times I want to know things that I don't get or that are sometimes when I get things, you have to understand it's a waiting game. I've waited for some of my visions 30 years or less or more for them to happen. I can't judge time. You know, and when I say that summer would be found when the leaves were on the ground, I believe they found something in their last search. And there are still leaves on the ground. And she's there. She's there on that mountain. Then this was a couple days ago. I was relaxing in the tub where I've had many visions in the tub because I'm relaxing. I've got my herbal stuff and I'm got bubbles and I've had many visions in the bathtub because I'm by myself. There's no dogs pouncing on me or I'm by myself and I'm just kind of meditating, and it felt like something was pushed into my head, like this vision, and I saw summer, and I wasn't really thinking about summer, and I saw Summer's little head, and she was like resting on taking a little nap, and her eyes were closed, and her blonde hair was so beautiful, and it was longer, like down to her neck, that the way I always see her. And I was admiring how beautiful she was and how beautiful her hair was, and such a gorgeous little child, so peaceful and sleeping, and I was adoring her, looking at her, and she had her little head down, and she was just sleeping peacefully. And suddenly I saw, and then to the left, Candace walking up the hill in her lumberjack outfit. And I realized it was horrible. It was like it struck me, like it came into my head that the reason that Candace shaved Summer's head was because she hated Summer's hair. She was jealous that Summer had beautiful hair. And for spite, she shaved her head. And that was like pushed, it was like words pushed into my head. It was not a guess, it was not a maybe, it was an absolute. And I felt the shock, like the disgust, like, what is wrong with you, Candace? And I felt the hate coming out of Candace. And I looked at Summer and I saw this beautiful little child. And I thought, how could you possibly do this to her? And I felt the hate coming off this woman, and I suddenly was overcome with like an emotion. Like this spirit was also bringing a lot of emotion with it. And it was sadness, such sadness and sorrow that somebody could hate this child so much to do that to her and other things too, to take away that beautiful head of hair, a beautiful little baby hair. And I was so sad, I felt like crying. And I stopped myself. I brought myself out of it, but I could still see trees in the forest. And I realized that Candace shaved Summer's head because she hated her. She was jealous of her beautiful hair. And the thing she did to Summer was because she hated her. And that's the truth. I thought maybe she shaved the hair because she didn't want to, she was too lazy to deal with the lice, or she wanted to look like a boy because she wanted another boy. I never really realized how much she hated Summer. No, I don't think she killed her. I think she helped cover it up. But no, I don't think she killed her, but I didn't realize how much she hated her. And I could see the trees in the forest, and I saw the forest and I saw the well where I know Summer has shown me. And I could also see new saplings coming up in the forest around the well, like little sprigs of trees. And there was starting to come some green in there. And the tree that I'd always seen was there, and the well, and there were still a lot of brown leaves around it, but they were starting to see some green. And I knew she was still there, but I saw saplings coming up, like very short, small little saplings coming up. And then I saw those 5 white posts or ones, or they were in the ground and they were around the property. And I was walking around the property in this daytime vision. This was like the bathtub vision. While I was getting out and everything, I was still seeing this in my mind. And no, I'm not insane. This is what I see. And I could still see them. And I knew there was another home close by. And if the other house on the other side of the top of Ben Hill had these markings, it would be across from these, like, you know how they have those cement posts in the ground to keep you from the car from going into a space, but people can pass through. It was something like that. But I thought, could it be around where she is? No, because they were whitewashed. They were like white, totally white. And it wasn't on their property, but it was somewhere near. It had something to do with something like that had to do with Summer, or near where she was, across from where she was, and you just follow the stream down. Um, the 5 white posts mean something. And I checked the address up. There is a 103 Ben Hill Drive. Excuse me. There is a 103 Ben Hill Drive, and it's down near the bottom of the hill. And I'm not sure exactly what house it is because I can't get in on my Google Earth to the upper Ben Hill Drive. So if somebody knows if they're the houses at the top of Ben Hill Drive, Ben Hill Road, not the bottom where theirs is, or where it comes around to go into their property, but the top part, because that's where she's shown me she is. And somebody knows if they're like white pillar or white stakes. They didn't have a like a fence thing across them. They were just sitting there. And I walked around the forest and I was saying, I know you're here. I said, and then somebody told me Summer is finished resting. And like she'd been resting for a while. And I got the feeling that this was the spirit, this new spirit, this much more aggressive spirit. And I talked to it and I said, if you're not of God, you might as well leave because I'm not, I said, I appreciate you told me. I know Candace is going to be arrested. Don had already been arrested. He was in the picture. He was in the profiles. He was already done. He was the first. Plus he was on the side, which means he's still somehow in the picture, but he was already arrested. Candace was the second picture. There's two other people who are going to be arrested. I believe it's Candace and Hunter because I I believe he was a witness and he knows he knows what happened. He knows about the gun and uh and Summers finished resting because she kind of went away for a little while, but it was very sad to know that her mother hated her that much to cut her hair. That's the answer to the question about her hair. That's why she cut her hair, because she hated her. It wasn't so much a matter of her being jealous of Don loving Summer. It was just that she hated Summer and she hated her having that beautiful hair, which I thought was absolutely sweet and baby like and baby fine, and I adore blonde hair. I have two blondes and a brunette, my kids, and I just adored her. She looked like a little angel, and I was admiring it, and suddenly the spirit just pushed it into my head. Like this spirit is more physical, and I'll see how it goes with the spirit. I imagine I'll get a lot of information. I don't want to scare us. Oh, and they also told me when I have a question to ask Summer's friends. And that was something new because I don't know who Summer's friends are. Like this is all kind of new. And what else did I have to tell you? This spirit sort of has an attitude and I'm not sure I like this. But I was getting information the other way too. With Summer, it's just the best. And for my regular spirit guides, who let me know things. Um, so I think that was this. So if anybody knows addresses, what addresses across from the top of their property, um, if there are 5 whitewashed markers like fence posts or those concrete markers near the top of the well's property, um, somebody needs to go in there. And it's not that I really have discussed it with these creators. They're just dragging this thing out to get likes, to get money, to get a news story every other day. I've like getting disgusted with them, and they're fighting amongst themselves, and it's not even about Summer anymore. It's about them. It's about Candace. Candace is the star here, and she is a despicable person. And all these other people, no, no, they're not involved. They came along to hitch a ride. Candace is despicable to say she doesn't want her daughter anymore. She doesn't care about Summer. She doesn't care about anything but herself. She doesn't miss Summer. She doesn't love her. She doesn't want her. She's not happy. She's falling apart. And she will fall apart when she gets arrested. She's going to squeal. and they will find Summer. And I do believe they found something when they did that search. I believe it was a dead dog, and it was partial remains or where remains had been, from what I've heard. And that makes perfect sense to me because I know they found something. And they will find something again. And the 27th was yesterday. Summer told me the 27th. She didn't tell me what month. Like I said, this is not, they don't give you a date. They don't give you a date on these things. They only tell you, you know, what they tell you. Doesn't come with a date. Sometimes it does, actually. I have gotten dates, but most of the time it doesn't. It just gives you maybe a day or some sort of a combination of numbers or something like that. So I guess that's all I had to say for now. Still working on it, and I'm not giving up. I just am disgusted with its creators. I think they're just disgusting, and I could name names, but I'm not going to. They make up stories. They concoct these outlandish. I mean, the shoe theory, the shoe guys, the especially with the child trafficking things and the sadistic killings and the weird, the law enforcement and on it, bringing back the church here. I mean, I thought we kind of, I don't want to have anything to do with them. I don't talk to them. I don't, just hashing it over and over and over and over again. Like, what good does this do? And then it's like people are on the blog, oh, thank you, thank you. You did such a great job. Did job with what? I mean, everybody has an opinion. Why is one person's opinion more important than another's? I mean, you don't even have any facts. You just go on there and you give your opinion. At least some channels have facts, or interviews or something like that. And the fighting, like, yeah, I'll meet you at the TBI building because you threatened me. And, I mean, if you're tolerating these people, you're encouraging them. So really, you're just encouraging them. And it's mulling, it's messing, it's degrading Summer's name. It really is. If you want to help her be found, find a good channel. Not a phony psychic or anything. I mean, praying channel, someone where people pray for others, she's going to be found. I know that. They're going to be tried. Both of them are guilty. She pointed them out. And they are going to be held accountable. I know this. And Candace is next. Donna's already in jail. And he'll probably go right from the jail he's in to Utah, where he is going to be, tried for what he did to his sisters. Horrible bastard. And they both have stuff on each other, Candace and Don. Who's going to squeal first? When Candace gets in jail, she thinks she's off the hook. She's not. They're waiting for something. They may not be that swift in Hawkins County, but the FBI or TBI is on it too. They have evidence, and they just brought, I heard that they just got evidence from one of YouTubers, neighbors or something. They told the neighbors they had some evidence too. And they had a case on Summer, a separate case, other than the boys, before they even had the case on the boys. So they were looking into Summer. So I don't believe they got rid of her, sold her right before CPS came. Because that would have been looking awfully suspicious that suddenly the daughter disappears before CPS. So that theory kind of goes out the window. The theory that I go with is the accidental accident that happened at home that turned into a murder. We got to cover this up. Because of the way they lived, there was absolutely no care for those children. They were neglected, abused. It was like a train wreck ready to happen, and it did. It could have happened before, after, and little Summer got in the way of a horrible accident. Instead of doing what they should have done, taking her to the hospital, no, they made this big cover-up story so they could save their own asses. They could have saved her, but they didn't because they're selfish bastards. And I don't care who finds this offensive. They are. They did it. And I know it. She told me. She showed me. She pointed them out. And she told me Don did it. Before, in three different ways, she told me Don did it. And Candace helped. The first rule of being a mother is to protect your children. First rule. And she broke it. She betrayed Summer. And when I felt how much hate she had and loathing she had for her little daughter, her beautiful, sweet little daughter who needed her, it just broke my heart. So whatever she gets, she's coming. So I'll talk to you soon, everybody. I hope you take care and take care of yourselves. And I love you.